Good morning, everyone. Shall we start our class? So the last class we discussed two topics. One is how to configure RODC server, and we discussed how to configure DHCP server. What is the use of DHCP server? DHCP stands Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol Service, and by the help of this service, we can assign automatic dynamic IP address server clients. By the help of DHCP server, we are doing centralized easy management. Now today we have our next topic, that is a DNS, and the DNS stands here domain naming service, or you can say domain naming system. You can say domain naming service or domain naming system. So the experts are saying, sir, without DNS service we cannot work in the LAN and we cannot work in the WAN. If you want to work in the LAN means your domain model, and if you want to work in the WAN means over the internet. So we require compulsory DNS service here. Okay, so without DNS service we cannot work in the LAN and we cannot work in the WAN here. So we'll take the example of first, what is a work in the LAN? LAN means your domain model. Now we are using domain model to do easy and centralized management. By sitting on server, we want to manage the entire network here. So to configure domain model, what is the requirement? To configure domain model, at least we require one system as a server or not here. So we are making the system one is a server, and technically it's called domain controller. So if you want to make this machine as a domain controller, we have to install operating system first, but once install OS, basically this machine is what here? Work group. So to convert this machine work group to domain, we have to install Active Directory Domain Service. By the help of Active Directory Domain Service, I can make this machine as a server. But to each and every server, we require unique domain name or not? Without name, can you configure the servers? Can you host the servers within LAN or over the internet? No. We require name to the server, and this name we are giving by the help of DNS service, and this name is called domain name. So to each and every server we require unique domain name, and this name we are giving by the help of DNS service. So example, I'm giving the name to my server is Zoom. So not only can you identify, can you say this server, okay, the server name is Zoom, the company name is Zoom here, okay, but can you give the answer, this server is a which category of server? Maybe it's a commercial, maybe it's an organization, maybe it's a government, maybe it's a military server. No, right? So what the microservice is saying, whenever giving the server name, you have to give the name plus extension. You have to add the extension .com, right? So now you can say the complete domain name is what here? Zoom.com, right? So Zoom is a company name and com is a commercial, and these two names, Zoom and com, is separated by dot, and this complete name is called DNS domain name. So to each and every server in the world, when you're designing within the LAN or over the internet, we require unique name, and this name we are assigning by the help of DNS service here. Okay, this is one. An example like this, under this domain zoom.com, I want to create one child domain here. I want to create one subdomain. So can I create the subdomain here? So I'm giving the subdomain name is MCSC zoom.com. So if I'm saying MCSC zoom.com is a child domain of zoom.com, can we say this is a child? No, this is a new primary DC, you can say, right? But if you want to make this machine as a subdomain of zoom.com, child domain of zoom.com, we have to separate the MCSC and we have to separate the Zoom, and we have to give this dot, and this dot is called DNS service here. Okay, and you can see now in front of you, you have two domain names here. One is MCSC and one is a zoom.com. These two names are separated by dot, and you can say zoom.com is a parent server and MCSC is a child domain, you can say, right? So it means by the help of DNS service, we can give the hierarchical name of to the domains here, right? So to each and every domain we require unique name, and we are giving by the help of DNS service. And you can see now in system one machine, in system one server, we have two services. One is Active Directory service and one is a DNS service. Now tell me, when I'm installing Active Directory service to make DC, to make child, so automatically DNS installing, or we are installing this service? Automatically. So it means the DNS service is integrated with Active Directory, you can say this one. Okay, so now the system one is called DC, is called server also, is called Active Directory server. At the same time, the system one also is called DNS server. It's called what here? DNS. So wherever the DNS server installed, maybe automatically or manually, that machine is called DNS server. And the last class we seen, to make this machine as a server, we require unique IP address or not here. So we are giving the IP address is 10.0.0.1. Now tell me, what is the preferred DNS of this machine? What is the preferred DNS to my server? That is the same, 10.0.0.1. So the question is what? Why I'm giving preferred DNS address is 10.1? Why I'm not giving other address here? Because the reason is what? DNS service. Clearly is written, prefer DNS. So it means wherever the DNS service is running, this machine is called DNS server. Maybe you are installing automatically or installing manually. So this machine is called DNS server, and wherever the DNS is installing, that machine always IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Till now, I say that the last station, when you're making DC, give the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. That is okay because DNS is installing in this machine. But now you have to change. You have to tell to the, if anyone is asking to you in interview or in exam, sir, when we are making DC, why we are giving IP address and preferred DNS address is same. So give the reason is what, sir? DNS service, not Active Directory, right? So wherever the DNS server installing, that machine is called DNS server, and always that machine IP address and the preferred DNS address should be same there. So this is the work of DNS service. So like this, in my domain, I'm creating child domain, I'm creating grandchild domain. To each and every server, we require unique name, and this name we are assigning by the help of DNS service. So this is the first work of DNS service in my LAN here. Now check what is the second work of DNS service in the LAN here. So example, in my LAN, I have two computers. In my network, I have two machines. One is system 1, and in system 1 machine, I have one share folder by the name of data, and the IP address of this computer. The IP address of this computer is example 10.0.0.1. Okay. Now we have one more computer here, that is system 2, which is connected to my network, and the IP of this machine is 10.0.0.2. Now as a user, example, I'm an employee, I'm a user 1, I'm sitting on this computer, right? I'm requesting to my administrator, sir, I want to access data share folder. I want to access data share folder. So not only data share folder is available on my machine, is available on other machine, is available on other machine in my network. But right now as a user, I don't know on which machine, on which IP our share folder is created. I don't know that what is the path to use to access the share folder here, right? So I'm requesting to administrator, sir, please tell me how to access the data share folder. I'm sitting on system 2 machine, sir. Okay. So as the administrator, you have to guide to me or not here. As admin, you have to guide to the user, sir, use this path, use this network path to access the share folder. So tell to the user, sir, do one thing, sir, go to the run and take the help of network path to access the share folder. So the user is saying, sir, I don't know what is network path, sir. What I have to use? So tell to the user, sir, go to the run and type // system name. What, SYS1 or SYS2? SYS1, where the share folder is created. SYS1, then single // then share folder name. You have to tell. Then click on OK, click on enter, and you can access the share folder. So now tell me, the administrator is telling to this user what information? The administrator is telling to this user, sir, by using system name, you have to access the share folder. And the systems technically also is called host here. It's called what here? Host. So the administrator is not telling the IP of that machine. Administrator telling what here? Host name of that machine to reach to the share, to reach to that machine, to access the share folder. So right now the user is having what information? Host name. But to reach to this computer, my computer, require IP address, right? So now tell me, once I press enter, the request will go to which service? The request will go to first to system 1? No. See here, once you press enter, the request will not go to the system 1, because right now my computer is not having any information what is the IP of system 1. So once you press enter, in our network, we have one service, and that service name is called name resolving service. That service name is what here? Name resolving. And name resolving service contain what? The name resolving service contain in our network how many machines we have, that machine host names, and that machine's corresponding IP addresses. What is that machine IP? Okay. So like this, name resolving service having information of system 2 and that machine IP address. And the name resolving service also is having information of system 3 and that machine IP address information. Okay. So now, as a user, I'm sitting on system 2 machine. I'm going to run, I'm typing // system1/data. Once you press enter, the first request will go to the name resolving service. And this time what we are sending? We are sending the system name. We are sending the host name to name resolving service. We are asking to name resolving service, take the system name, right? This is a system name. I need this machine IP address information. So the name resolving service, what it will do, it will take the system name, it will check the database, and in the database it will check what is the system name. System name is a system1, and system1 IP is what, 10.0.1. So name resolving service will take the system name, it will give the IP address. So this process is called resolving here. It's called what here? Resolving. So it's just their name resolving service is taking the host name and is giving IP address to you. Now right now your machine is getting IP address 10.0.0.1. By taking this IP, my machine can reach to 10.1 machine to access the share folder or not here? Yes. So what is the job of name resolving service here? Resolving host name to IP address. Okay, fine. So it means once you press enter, when you're accessing the share folder, when you press enter, the request will not go to system1 directly first. The request will go to what here? Name resolving service. Name resolving service contain all the host names which is present in my network and that machine IP addresses. And the name resolving service resolving the host name to IP. By taking IP, we can reach to that machine to access the share folder. Okay, fine. But next day, the next user is requesting to admin. User 2 is requesting to admin, sir, I want to access data share folder. And this time the admin is saying to user, sir, please do one thing, go to the run and type / IP address 10.0.0.1 / data share folder. And this time to this user, the administrator is not telling the host name, it's telling what here? IP address. So right now this computer, this user is having what information? IP address. But to reach to that machine, we need host name. We need what here? Host name. We have IP information, but we need what here? Host name. So once you press enter, again the request will go to name resolving service. And this time what we are sending? We are sending IP address. And we are requesting to name resolving service, take this IP and tell me this IP is a which machine IP address. So the name resolving service will take the IP 10.0.1. It will say this IP is a system1 IP. And now this time the name resolving service is resolving the IP address to host name. And by taking this host name, we can reach to the system1 to access the share folder. So the work of the name resolving service was resolving host name to IP address and resolving IP address to host name. So by taking this information, we can reach to that machine, we can access the share folder. Okay. So in the LAN, the name resolving service is doing two jobs. The first job of the name resolving service what? Resolving host name to IP and IP address to host name here, right? And here, the name resolving service name is DNS service. The name resolving service name is what here? DNS. So your DNS service also is called what here? Name resolving service. So if anyone is asking to you in interview, right, sir, what is the work of DNS service? What is the work of DNS service? So you have to say that DNS job is what? Resolving host name to IP address and IP address to host name. This is one. And the second thing, if anyone is asking to you, sir, in our domain model, in our LAN, in our domain model, when we are creating the server, what is the job of DNS service? So give the answer. By the help of DNS service, we are assigning the name to the server. By the help of Active Directory, we are making DC, we are making server. But to each and every server, we require a unique name. And this name we are assigning by the help of DNS service. And this name is called domain name. So DNS is doing two jobs here. One is when you're making the servers, we require name to the server. And this name we are assigning by the help of DNS service. And in the LAN, when one machine is accessing other machine data, so we need that machine system name or we need that machine IP address. So DNS job is for resolving host name to IP address and IP address to host name. So that's why you can see in the slide is written DNS stands domain naming service or domain naming system. You can say DNS provides resolutions of name to IP addresses and IP resolutions of IP address to name here. And the second job of the DNS service in domain model is what? Defining the hierarchical namespace, where each level of the namespace is separated by dot here. So example, the first domain name I have given you out here, zoom.com, right? And the zoom and dot is com separated by this dot. This dot is called DNS. Example, under zoom, I'm creating one more subdomain, that is mcsc.zoom.com. So you can say MCSC is a child domain and zoom.com is called parent. And these two names are separated by this dot. This dot is called DNS service here. Okay. Any doubt? What is the work of DHCP server? Assigning the dynamic IP address to our network computers here. What is the work of DNS service? Resolving the host name to IP addresses and IP address to host name here, right? So remember this one. So please copy this slide. Is done. Over. Now the microservicing DNS service is very important. In every server we require DNS service. So this service, DNS service, is available in all Microsoft server operating system. Is available in NT also, is available in 2000 also, is available in 2003 also, 8 also, and 12 also. Not only Microsoft operating system, is available in non-Windows server operating system also, because by using this server OS we are making the servers, and to each and every server we require unique domain name or not here. Okay, so that's why this service is available in all server operating system. Now the microservicing DNS service is very important. We require in the LAN also, and we require in WAN. Without DNS service as a system administrator we cannot work in the LAN, and without DNS service as a system admin we cannot work in the WAN. And DNS is very important topic and is very big class also, right? So that's why this class we divide into 2 sessions. So today we have a DNS first session, and tomorrow we have a DNS second session. And today we are discussing what is the work of DNS service in WAN. What is the work of DNS service in WAN over the internet? And tomorrow we'll discuss what is the work of DNS service in the LAN here. Okay, so we'll see now what is the work of DNS service in the WAN. So assume after completing this MCSC course you're working as an administrator in one organization, and assume this organization is in USA. This organization is in USA, and one day your boss is coming, your boss is requesting to you, sir, you are my network system administrator, please, for our organization we require one web server. We want to host the website over the internet for our organization. Can we host the website or not here? So now tell me, why we require websites? Why every organization nowadays, you can see it, is saying that we require a website for organization. Why? Because the companies want to advertise his product information over the internet, and the companies want to serve the services to end users, and the company don't know the end user is sitting on where, right? We want to give the best service. So that's the reason every organization is saying we require a web server, right? We require a website. To host the website we require one web server. So to make web server we require one machine. Example, system 3, I want to configure this machine as a web server here. Okay, and when you're hosting the website over the internet to your web server we require public IP, because we are not hosting within the LAN, we are hosting the website over the internet. To web server we require public IP address. So assume the ISP is giving the public IP, is expensive, so that is 61.0.0.5, and I want to host the website over the internet by the name yahoo.com. So my boss is saying, sir, our website name is what here? Yahoo.com, right? Now to host the website over the internet, right, by the name yahoo.com, first you have to check whether this name yahoo.com domain name is available for you or not here. Because if already one company has hosted the website, his website over the internet by the name of yahoo.com, can we host one more website over the internet by the name of yahoo.com? No. So domain name, website name should be unique or not here. So this name you have to check. So to confirm this name, right, if it is name is available you have to go for registration also. So the other companies will not use this name, right? So to whom we have to contact to get this information, whether this name is available over the internet or not, and for registration of name, so we have to contact to ISP. We have to contact to the ISP, internet service provider. Now tell me, in every country, right, in every state we have a local service provider or not here? Like in our India we have BSNL, we have Reliance, we have ACT. These are the ISP provider. Like this in every country, right? In USA also we have a local service provider. So we have to contact to the local service provider of the USA and ask to this ISP, sir, my company want to host the website over the internet by the name of yahoo.com. So please check and confirm it whether this name is available or not. If the ISPs are saying, sir, this name is not available, so you have to change your website name, you have to change your domain name. But the ISP is saying, okay, sir, this name is available. Till now no one has hosted the website by the name of yahoo.com over the internet. If this name is available, so tell to the ISP, go for the registration, right? And ISP, it will charge some amount for this registration of your domain name, and you have to give it and register it. So tell to the ISP, register this name to my company. So it will register to your company, so other companies cannot use this name here. Then after that, what we have to do, we have to go for a website. We have to go for web server registration. You have to go for web server website registration. And again, you have to contact to ISP to registration. So what we have to do? So contact to ISP. ISP will charge some amount for this registration. Domain name is registration, that is done. Now we have to go for website registration, right? So what is a website registration? So what the ISP will do, it will charge per annum some amount. We have to pay this amount to ISP, and ISP keep your web server website information in ISP server. If your web server website information is available in ISP server, so then you can say your website is hosted over the internet, and you can allow your users, you can allow your world users to access your website by sitting anywhere in the corner of the world can access. If you're not hosting this website over the internet, if you're not registering to your ISP, so you cannot allow the user to access this website over the internet. So it means we have to contact to ISP, tell to the ISP administrator, sir, please, I'm hosting the website over the internet by the name of yahoo.com. My web server name is system3 and IP of my web server is 61.0.5. So ISP administrator will take your information and ISP will keep your information in ISP server. And if your web server information is available in ISP server, so then you can say your website is hosted over the internet here. So it means ISP also is maintaining some servers. But my question is, what ISP is maintaining what type of servers here? ISPs are maintaining like this network, DC clients, like we have seen how to configure the DC, how to configure the clients. So ISPs are doing easy and centralized management, or ISP is maintaining the private network, or ISPs are maintaining DC clients to manage the network. No, ISPs are not maintaining DC and clients. ISPs are not working for private network. ISPs are working for public network. So ISP want to give the service to public users. Who is the public user? We are the public user. So assume it, we are working for our organizations, and our organization website want to host over the internet. So ISP is serving the services to you. So ISP want to serve the services to clients. So ISPs are not maintaining DC and clients like DC clients. So ISPs are maintaining some servers. But what servers? So ISPs are maintaining only DNS server. ISPs are maintaining which servers here? DNS server, right? So ISPs are not maintaining DC clients. ISPs are maintaining only DNS server. Now I have a question here. Now tell me, without DNS service, can we install Active Directory? Can we make this machine as a DC? Can we make this machine as a server? No. I'm saying without DNS service, can we install Active Directory? No. Can we make server? No. Because to each and every server, we require unique name or not here, right? We require unique name. So without name, we cannot install Active Directory. We cannot make this machine as a DC. But without Active Directory, can we make one system as a DNS server? Yes, it's possible. Without Active Directory, we can make one system as a DNS server, because the DNS service is not integrated with Active Directory, right? So to make DNS server is not compulsory. We require Active Directory server or DC in my network. So example, this ISP want to make one DNS server. So to configure DNS server, we require one machine, and in this machine we require server operating system, and once install OS. Basically, this machine is what? Workgroup. So tell me, to make this machine as a DNS server, I have to convert this machine workgroup to member server or workgroup to DC. To make this machine as a DNS server, only DNS server. So we have to convert this machine workgroup to member server or workgroup to DC. No. If this machine is workgroup also, we can install DNS service. So without Active Directory, without joining this machine to domain, I can make this machine as a DNS server. So it means without DNS service, we cannot install Active Directory. But without Active Directory, we can install DNS service. So to make DNS server, it's not compulsory this machine should be a DC. This machine should be a member server. If this machine is workgroup, we can install DNS service. But whenever you're making this machine as a DNS server, make sure this machine IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Remember here, wherever you're installing DNS service, maybe automatically or manually. So this machine is called DNS server, and always DNS server IP address and preferred DNS address should be same, because clearly is written prefer DNS. Where your DNS is installing, that machine is called DNS server. Now next, what we have to do? So now tell me, once install OS, automatically DNS service will install, or we have to install the DNS service? We have to install the DNS service manually. So in this machine, we have to install the DNS service manually. So by the help of Server Manager console, we are installing the DNS service. So once installed DNS service, this machine is called DNS server. So now tell to this ISP administrator, sir, keep my web server information in ISP server. So what the ISP administrator will do, it will take your website name, it will take your system name, it will take your web server IP, it will keep this information in DNS server. So then your website is hosted over the internet. So the website name is what here? Yahoo.com, and the system name of the web server is what? System3, and IP of the web server is 61.0.0.5. So once this information is fed in ISP server, so you can say this website is hosted over the internet, right? Now try to understand. One of the user, example, this is a client, and this user is taking internet line from this ISP. Okay, so what this ISP will do, it will give the IP address to this client, 10.0.0. example 5, and the ISP, remember here, the ISP DNS server IP will become preferred DNS for this clients, right? Whenever you purchase the internet line, you're getting IP address from ISP or not here. And if you check, you have preferred DNS also, you have alternate. So whatever your ISP DNS server IP is there, that IP will become what here? Preferred DNS. So now this website is hosted to this DNS server, and I've taken the internet line from this ISP DNS server. So now the user is going and is typing www.yahoo.com. So now tell me, once I press enter, this is my home PC. I'm an end user. I'm sitting on my home PC, right? So once I press enter, so now tell me the first request will go to web server or the request will go to DNS server? The request will go to ISP DNS server or web server? ISP DNS server. Why DNS server? Because the client is having DNS server information. The client is not having web server. So right now the user is having what information? Name. But to reach to the web server, we require web server IP. And web server IP, who is keeping? Your DNS server. So once you press enter, the request will go to DNS server. And what we are sending now? We are sending the domain name, host name. And DNS server will take the host name. It will say, okay, what you are searching? Right? Yahoo.com web server IP. Yahoo.com web server IP 61.0.0.5. So it will resolve the name to IP address. So we are getting back the IP address from DNS server. And by taking this IP, can we reach to the web server? Can we access the website or not here? Yes. So this process is called DNS, resolving the host name to IP address. But next day, the next user, right? Next user is going to the browser and is typing IP address 61.0.0.5. It's not typing the host name. It's typing the IP address. So not only once you press enter, you will get the same website or not here? Yes. And what happening? This time we are sending the IP to DNS server. And DNS server is taking the IP address and is saying, okay, this IP is a web server IP of yahoo.com. So it's resolving the host name to, it's resolving the IP address to host name. And by taking this host name, we can reach to the web server. Can we access the site or not here? So DNS job is what? Resolving the host name to IP address and IP address to host name to reach and to access the site here. Okay. So this user is taking the internet line from this ISP. But example, tell me, in the world, all the world users are going to take the internet line from this ISP. So example, I'm sitting in Hyderabad in India, right? This is my home PC. I'm a user. I want internet line in my home PC, right? So now tell me, to whom we have to contact to get the internet line? We have to ask to the ISP. But which ISP? My local service provider, like in India, BSNL, Reliance are there. So we have to ask to our local service provider, or we have to ask to the USA ISP. Sir, I'm sitting in India, give the internet line. It will give or not? Why we have to go to the local ISP? Call to the USA ISP. Sir, I'm sitting in Hyderabad in India, so and so place. Sir, I want internet line. They will not give. Yeah, they will give. But that time your internet line is very expensive for you. Okay. So now I'm requesting to my local ISP, like BSNL is my local ISP. And this BSNL also is maintaining their own DNS server. Remember here, every ISP is having their own DNS server. And this ISP DNS server IP address is 202.1.1.1. And from this ISP, I am taking internet line. So example, when I'm taking the internet line, the ISP will give the IP address to my machine or not here? And the ISP is giving like this IP, 192.168.0.5. And ISP is giving these two addresses. One is preferred DNS 192.168.0. Sorry, not this one. The preferred DNS address is your ISP DNS server IP address. So what IP address will become preferred DNS 202.1.1.1 or 10.0.0.1? 202, because we are taking internet line from this ISP 202.1.1.1, and the ISP is giving alternate DNS address also. And alternate DNS address is 202.1.1.40. So it means ISP is having two DNS servers. One is 10.202.1.1.1, that is a primary DNS server, and 202.1.1.40 is a backup DNS server. If the primary is failed, the backup will give the answer. Okay. So now, tell me, Yahoo.com website is registered to this ISP 202.1.1.1, my local ISP? No. And see here, all the world website is not registered to one ISP in the world. It's registered to different ISP in different countries, in different areas there. Okay, because all the world website is not going to register. But tell me, by using our computer, by using our internet line, can we access all world website or not here? But it's not registered to my ISP, but still my ISP is allowing to me to access all world website. But how is possible? Check it out. So example, this user is taking the internet line from 202.1.1 ISP in India ISP. The user is going to browser and the user is typing www.yahoo.com, right? First day, first time, I'm typing www.yahoo.com. Now tell me, once I press enter, the first request will go to my local ISP first, or the request will go to USA ISP. The request will go to my local ISP, not to the USA ISP. Okay, the request is going to this ISP. So what this ISP will do? It will check the database, website is registered or not. If the yahoo.com website is registered, this ISP will give the answer. If the yahoo.com website is not registered, so it will check the cache also. It will check what here? Cache. Means temporary memory, whether it's having or not here. So now tell me, right now the website is not registered. Cache memory also is not available. So now tell me, this ISP will allow to you to access yahoo.com website or not? Yes? Example, I'm asking one question to you. Sir, what is WDS server, sir? What is iSCSI server, sir? What is WDS? Can you give the answer? No. Why? Because you're not having information. Like this, you're asking one question to me. Sir, what is Active Directory? What is Active Directory? But right now, I'm not having information of Active Directory. I will say what? Sorry, sir. I'm not having any information of Active Directory. The same thing right now. The website is not registered to this ISP, 202.1.1.1. If the website is not registered to this ISP, so this ISP will allow to you to access yahoo.com website? Answer is no. But answer is what? Yes. Is possible. You can see here, if you're taking the internet line from your ISP, is allowing to you to access all world website or not here. But all world website is not registered to your ISP. But how your ISP is allowing to you to access all world website? Is allowing to you by the help of this option. That option is called what here? Forwarder. That option is what here? Forwarder. So what is the meaning of forwarder here? Forwarder means forwarding the request. So example, you're asking one question to me, sir, what is Active Directory? But I'm saying, sorry, sir, I'm not having any information of Active Directory. But wait, I will give you the answer to you. So what I'm taking your query, I'm taking your question, I'm forwarding your question to my senior admin. And my senior admin is giving answer to me. I'm giving the answer to you. What is Active Directory? So now tell me, you're getting the answer or not here? I'm giving you information. Okay. So the same thing here in the world, in every country, we have a local service provider. And one service provider is connected to the next service provider. So means one service provider is having information of other service. So means the neighborship is there. So one service provider is connected to next service provider, one service provider is connected to next. Like this chain system is there in the world. So each and every service provider is connected to each other. So whenever the request is coming to my local service provider, BSNL, and if this website, this ISP DNS server, BSNL ISP DNS server is not having information of yahoo.com or any website, so this ISP will not reject your request. It will take your request, it will forward the request to its neighbor ISP DNS server. It will forward the request to neighbor ISP. And this neighbor ISP also is maintaining their own DNS server. If the website is registered here, this ISP will give the answer to your ISP, you're giving answer to your clients. But if the website is not registered to this ISP also will do the same thing. It will check the cache. It will check, use what here? Forward. So this ISP will forward the request to next neighbor ISP, right? This ISP also is having their own DNS server. It will check the website is registered or not. If it is not registered, it will go for cache. It will go for forwarder. So like this, it will forward the request to next ISP. So at last, like this, there are so many ISPs are there, but at last the request coming to this ISP or not here, where the website is registered. That is system 1, that is 10.0.1 ISP. So this ISP is called registered DNS server ISP for yahoo.com. Now website is registered. So what this ISP will do, okay, it's taking the name and you are asking what here? IP address. So this ISP is having name and this ISP is having information of IP. So it will resolve the name to IP address. It's saying, okay, you're searching this IP. The IP of the website is 1061.0.0.5. So this neighbor ISP is forwarding the request to this neighbor to this neighbor to my cache memory, and this DNS server is giving the answer to client. Now the client is getting the answer. The website of yahoo.com is 61.0.5. On this IP, web server is hosted. By taking this IP, can we reach to the web server to access the website or not here? Yes, we can access. So like this chain system is there. So whenever you're registering the website, all the world website is not registered to one ISP, but still your ISP is allowing to you to access all world website or not here. It's possible by the help of forwarders. It's possible by the help of DNS server. It's possible by the help of forwarders. So next day, the user are accessing this website by IP address. Instead of name, you can type the IP address in the address bar, 61.0.5. Once you press enter, are you getting the same website or not here? So this is possible by the help of DNS server. So DNS server, if the DNS server website is not registered on DNS server, so DNS server will not reject request. It will take the help of forwarder. By the help of forwarder, is allowing to you access all website and resolving the name to IP and IP address to name we can access. Okay. So this is the work of DNS service. Till now, we are thinking whenever we are accessing any website, Yahoo, Gmail, we are thinking the request first is going to web server. But actually the request is not going to web server. The request is going to what here? Your ISP DNS server, and your ISP DNS server is allowing to you access the website. If the website is not registered using what here? Forwarder. By the help of forwarder is line. Now tell me between source. Source is you. Destination is web server. So now tell me over the internet how many ISPs are there? I'm writing only 2 or 3 ISPs in the diagram, but over the internet how many ISPs are there? More than 100 ISPs are there, and the request going from India to USA and accessing the site. Now assume it, one day you're planning to go from India to USA. How much time you need? By taking faster airlines, you're planning to go from India to USA. How much time you need? At least 14 hours to 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours we require. But assume it now, today first time you're accessing this yahoo.com website and is registered to USA ISP. If this website is in USA, web server also is in USA. When you're typing www.yahoo.com, how much time is taking to display the page? Just less than 1 minute. So less than 1 minute, the request going from India to USA, and you're accessing the website. So now tell me, through website, can we transfer the data or not here? Yes, and it's possible by the help of DNS service, right? Now do one thing, right? Only for one day, stop all DNS services. Stop all DNS servers. I'm not saying web servers. I'm not saying your DCs. I'm not saying your data server. I'm not saying your file server, storage server. Run all the servers, but stop only DNS servers. Only stop the DNS servers. Not tell me, if you stop the DNS servers, so not tell me any user can access any company website. No, right? So that's why the experts are saying DNS is very, very important. In the over the internet, in workgroup model, DNS is resolving the website name to IP address, and IP address to name to reach to the web server to access the site here. Okay. But assume it, in the real time, we are facing some problems also when we are accessing the website. Anyone has faced any common problem when you're accessing the websites? Yeah, see here. Whenever I'm accessing website, sometime I will get this error. Page cannot be displayed. Right? Page cannot be displayed. So what is the error actual this one? So assume it here, web server is working, but DNS server, maybe my DNS server is not working, or maybe where the website is registered, the DNS server is not working. So that's why we are getting this error. Page cannot be displayed. So means my DNS server is not resolving name to IP address and IP address to name. Remember this errors, because in interview it will ask this question. Sir, I'm accessing this website, I'm getting this error. Page cannot be displayed. So where is the problem, sir? So problem is what here? DNS server. Maybe my DNS server, or maybe registered DNS server is not resolving the name to IP address or IP address to name. Now we are getting one more error over the internet when you're accessing website. Server is not found, 404 error. Server is not found, 404 error means your DNS server is working, but your web server is not working. Web server is not working. So that's why we are getting error 404, right? 404 error means web server is not working, DNS server is working, resolving the name to IP address. But I have a problem here. My DNS server is working where the website is registered, and my web server also is working where the website is hosted. Okay, both the servers are running, and one day my user is sitting in India, is taking the internet line from BSNL ISP, that is 202.1.1.1, is requesting to local DNS server to resolve the website name. By using the forwarder, this DNS server is requesting to next ISP, next IP to neighbor name, next one, next to next one. But right now the request is not reaching to this ISP. Request is not reaching to this ISP where the website is registered. Now tell me, if the request is not reaching to this ISP where the website is registered, so this user can access yahoo.com website or not? Yes or no? No. Why? Because the request is not reaching to registered DNS server. That's why you cannot access. But Microsoft is saying yes. Microsoft is saying what here? Yes. It's possible by the help of this server. If your forward is cache is not working, if your forwarder is not working, so Microsoft is saying still answer is what? Yes, because your DNS server and web server both are running over the internet, and your neighbor, your ISP, unable to reach to the registered DNS server. So it's possible. Yes, answer is what? Yes. How is possible? It's possible by the help of this server. This is called what? What is this symbol? This is called dot. So this is called dot server, and technically this dot server also is called root server also. It's called what here? Root server. Now try to understand what the experts are saying. In the world, right, if your web server is hosted, website is hosted over the internet, if web server is working, DNS server is working. If your neighbor ISPs are not resolving the name to IP, IP to name, to reach to web server to access, so your root server is helping, right, to allow the user to access the website. So what root server contains? The root server contains all world website information. Root server is containing what? All world website information, all world web server information. But actual website we are not registering to root server. This website we are registering to our local ISP in different countries, in different areas we are registering. But the root server is containing what information? All world website information, right? And by the help of root server, we are allowing the user to access the website. But the question is what? Who is managing this root server and how many root servers we have in the world? These root servers are managing by this organization. Which organization? ICANN organization. And how many root servers we have in the world? We have 13 root servers. How many root servers we have? 13 root servers. We have 13 root servers is managing by ICANN organization, right? Now, this 13 root servers, right? We have 13 root servers managing by ICANN organization. But where these 13 root servers are placed, where you can find the location of these 13 root servers. If anyone is asking to you this question, they said, who is managing 13 root servers? You have to say ICANN organization. But where these 13 root servers are placed? Where these 13 root servers are available? In which country? Yes, sir. Okay. This organization, US based organization. So can you find all 13 root servers in USA? No. So these 13 root servers are spread in the world, right? These 13 root servers are spread in the world, right? And these 13 root servers, right, are connected to each other physically. And if you do any changes in one root server, right, is going to update to other 12 root servers, right? So one root server we have in USA, one root server is in South Africa, one root server in Europe, one root server in China also, one root server is in India also, one root server in Australia. Like this, the 13 root servers are spread in the different countries, and all these 13 root servers are connected physically to each other. If you do any change in one root server, this data will replicate to other 12 root servers. So I'm saying what? These 13 root servers are connected to each other. And if you do any changes in one root server, that is going to update to other 12 root servers. But the question is what? How these 13 root servers are connected to each other? By using what? Satellites, by using GPRS, by using Wi-Fi, or by using physical cables? By using physical cables, answer is correct, sir. Not by satellite, not by GPRS, not by Wi-Fi. These 13 root servers are spread in the world, are connected physically to each other. Physical cables. By using fiber cables, these servers are connected. I'm not saying from one room to other room, one is area to other area. I'm saying one country to other country. Is possible? Yes, sir, it's possible. If already is done long back, right? Now we are learning this time. Okay, so these 13 root servers are connected physically to each other from one country to other country. How the cables are crossing? By sea, by sand, by mountains. These cables are crossing and is connected from one country to other country, right? So really, one server is connected to other server. And if I do any change in one root server, that is going to update to other 13 root server. And some companies are there, like AT&T, like this company is there, L&T is there, like these companies are managing this connectivity there. If any problem is there, this company's administrators will go there and they will solve the problem there. But this 13 root servers are connected physically to each other, right? This is one. Now, second thing is what? I'm saying the root server containing what information? All world website information. But how these root servers are containing all world website information? These 13 root servers are containing world website information by category wise here. What categories these servers we have? This root server is maintaining .com server information. This root server is having .org. This root server is having .gov. Like this, so many extensions are there. This is called top level domains. It's called what here? Top level. So root server is having what information? Top level domains. Now example, over the internet in USA country, I hosted one website by the name of yahoo.com. So this website is registered to USA ISP, but this USA ISP administrator will forward the request to root server, and root server will maintain my website Information in which top level domain? It will check the extension. What is the extension? .com. So it will store in .com. So example, yahoo.com. Okay. So example, in India, I am hosting one website by the name of ibm.org. So this information will go to root server, and root server will maintain my website information which top level domain? org. So it's going to store in ibm.org. So this domains, yahoo.com, ibm.org, this is called secondary level domains. This is called what here? Secondary. And the secondary level domain also is called where the website is registered. That ISP, DNS server also is called secondary level domain here. Okay, this one. Now secondary level domains contain subdomains information. Like under yahoo.com, I'm hosting one more website by the name of mail.yahoo.com. So this information, this server mail is going to store in mail.yahoo.com. So these domains are called subdomains here. It's called what here? Subdomain. So it means the root server containing what information? Top level domain. And top level domain contain what information? Secondary level domain. And secondary level domain contain what information? Subdomain. Example, my user is sitting in India, is requesting to my BSNL ISP, local ISP, www.yahoo.com. Request will go to my ISP DNS server. And this time my ISP is not giving the answer by cache, is not giving the answer by forwarder. Both are failed. So then, remember here, in every DNS server, in every DNS service, this 13 root servers information already is available, and the Microsoft has feed it. We no need to feed this information. So this 13 root servers information by default is available in DNS server. Once you start DNS service, this information is there. I will show you how to check whether it's there or not. Okay. So what my DNS server will do, if the forward is not working, if cache is not working, then my DNS server will take the help of root server. So it will send the request to root server. So which root server is nearest to me? It will send the request to that root server. That is called routing server here. So which root server is nearest to me? Asia root server is nearest to me. So it will send the request to Asia root server. And the Asia root server, what we are requesting to Asia root server, says search me, where is yahoo.com, right? So root server is not having yahoo.com server information. Root server is not having information on web server, but root server is having information on .com. The request will go to root server to .com. But .com server is having yahoo.com information or not? That is called secondary level domain on where the website is registered. So the root server will request to .com. .com server will give the information. Okay, you're searching yahoo.com. Yahoo.com website is registered on 10.0.1. So the request will come to this ISP, and this ISP to my local ISP, and my local ISP will forward the request to 10.1 ISP. Now 10.1 ISP will resolve the name to IP or not here. So it will give the answer to my ISP. My ISP will give the answer to user, and by taking this IP, my user will reach to the web server. Can we access the site or not here? So it means if the cache is not working, if the forwarder is not working, still your DNS server is allowing to you to access all world website by the help of root server. But the condition is what? Your DNS server, where the website is registered, your web server should be working in the condition. If both are working, so if your DNS server is not resolving the cache, is not taking the help of forwarder, then it is taking the help of root server to allow. So not tell me like this. Can we allow the user to access all world website or not here? Yes. And this complete picture is called DNS namespace. It's called what here? DNS namespace. So whenever you go to the interview, it will ask this question. Sir, what is DNS namespace? You have to explain like this. Sir said this dot is called what here? Root server. This .org, .com, .edu, .au, like this, so many extensions are there, right? This is called secondary level domains. And msn.com, yahoo.com, microsoft.com, gmail.com, this is called what here? Sorry, root is called, this is root server, and this .com, .org, .edu is called what here? Top level domains here, right? And this microsoft.com, msn.com, yahoo.com, this is called what here? Secondary level domains. And corporate.microsoft.com, this is called what here? Subdomains here. So this is a complete picture. Okay. So, and this is called DNS namespace. And whenever you're writing MCSC exam 413 is asking this question, sir, what is a DNS service, right? And please draw the diagram of DNS namespace. Please explain. You have to explain like this. Okay. So please write down this one. Copy this. Please copy fast this one. It's finished, all of you. So please write down one point there. According to Microsoft 2012 server information, according to Microsoft 2012 server information, according to Microsoft 2012 server information, in the world there are 13 root servers. In the world there are 13 root servers. In the world there are 13 root servers. In the world there are 13 root servers are managing by. In the world there are 13 root servers are managing by ICANN organization. In the world there are 13 root servers are managing by ICANN organization. Okay, so this organization is managing all 13 root servers. But if anyone is asking to in interview, sir, what is ICANN stands? What is ICANN stands? So what we have to say? Any guessing answers? ICANN stands? Or start with the I. What is I stands? International. Very good. C stands? Corporation or communication. Okay. A stands? Assigning. Okay. N stands? Okay. You are coming in interview with your mobile or tablet. Very good. N stands, please? Network, because we are learning networking course. Very good. One more N stands? Networking. Right? Network and networking. So what is your answer? Is correct or wrong? Totally your answer is wrong. Please write down this one. Internet Corporation for assigning names and numbers. Internet Corporation for assigning names and numbers. Names means all your domain names are managing by this organization. Okay, and numbers means public IP addresses. Okay, this organization is managing. Okay. Now, what this organization is saying, one more thing you have to understand here. This organization is saying in this diagram, there are so many DNS servers are there. You can see in this diagram, there are so many ISP DNS servers are there. But this organization is saying, sir, over the internet, when you're working, we have two types of DNS servers. Over the internet, when working, we have two types of DNS servers. One DNS server is called authoritative and one is called non-authoritative. Now try to understand what is authoritative and what is non-authoritative. The Microsoft is saying which DNS server is giving answer directly to you and where the website is registered. The DNS server is called authoritative DNS server. The DNS server is called what here? Where the website is registered and which DNS server is giving answer directly to you. That is called what here? Authoritative DNS server. So example here. In this diagram, yahoo.com website is registered to which ISP? USA ISP. That is 10.0.0.1. Okay. Now from this ISP, example from this ISP, one of the user in USA is taking internet line. From this ISP, one of the user is taking internet line from this ISP. So this ISP will give, this ISP address will become preferred DNS for this client or not here. That is 10.0.0.1, and the user is going to the browser and the user is requesting www.yahoo.com, right? So once you press enter, the request will go to this ISP or not here, 10.1, and website is registered to this ISP. So this ISP will take the name, it will resolve to what here? IP address. But tell me now, this ISP is taking any help of cache? No. Is taking any help of forwarder? No. Is taking any help of routine server? No. Directly is giving answer, right? Is resolving the name to IP address. By taking this IP, this user can reach to web server. Can we access the yahoo.com website or not here? So this is called authoritative DNS server. It's called what here? Authoritative, where the website is registered and this DNS server is giving answer directly to you. That is called authoritative. But you can see, I'm a user here, India user. I'm taking the internet line from my ISP, that is 202.1.1.1. So my ISP also is giving the answer to me to access the yahoo.com website. But how is giving the answer? By using cache, or by using forwarder, or by using routine server. So this ISP DNS server, where the website is not registered, but still is allowing to you to access the yahoo.com website by using cache or forwarder, by using routine server. So this is called what here? Non-authoritative, right? Any doubt? So please copy this one. Okay, so where the website is registered, that ISP DNS server is called what here? Authoritative DNS server, where the website is not registered, but still this ISP is giving the answer to you by using cache, forwarder, routine. That is called what here? Non-authoritative DNS server here. Okay. Now the second thing is what? How we are accessing the website over the internet. Whenever we are accessing any website, maybe yahoo.com, gmail.com, or microsoft.com, what we are typing? When you're accessing Microsoft, Gmail, yahoo.com, what we are typing? We are typing www.yahoo.com. We are typing www.gmail.com. But ICANN organization is saying, sir, whenever you're accessing any website over the internet, you have to give the chance to user to access the website by using FQDN name, by using FQDN. And FQDN stands fully qualified domain name, fully qualified domain. So whenever we are accessing any website over the internet, right, is saying to users, is telling to your admins, sir, allow the user to access the website by using fully qualified domain name. Actually, what is fully qualified domain name? The Microsoft is saying your host name plus your domain name, your host name plus your domain name, that is called fully qualified domain name. So in this picture, you can see it in this picture. What is my website name? Yahoo.com. System name is what? System3. Or I have draw one more diagram. It's a very short diagram, right? So I have web server, I have DNS server, I have a client. Now what is the website name? Yahoo.com. Website system name is what? System3. So you can say fully qualified domain name is what? Host name is what? System3 plus your domain name is website name, that is yahoo.com. It will become fully qualified domain name. So here fully qualified domain name is what? You can say FQDN name is system3.yahoo.com. So whenever any user is asking to you, sir, how to access my company website? So tell to the user, type system3.yahoo.com, right? This is called fully qualified domain name. Example, I have a domain, zoom.com. System name is system1. What is fully qualified domain name? System1.zoom.com. So tell to the user, sir, when you are accessing the website, so go to the browser and you have to type fully qualified domain name. That is what? System3.yahoo.com. So once you press enter, right, then request will go from client to DNS server. DNS server resolve the name to IP, then you can access. But tell me, actually in the real time, we are accessing the website, any website, by system name, by computer name? No, we are accessing by www, right? How is possible? We'll see later. But now you have to understand, allow the user to access your company website by using fully qualified domain. So please copy this one. It's done, finished. Now second thing is what here, how we are accessing the website here. Now see here, this diagram is very short here. This is my system3's web server, IP 61.0.0.5 and website hosted by the name yahoo.com. And this is my ISP DNS server, that is 10.1. From this ISP, this client, this user is taking internet line. ISP has given the IP 10.0.4 and preferred DNS is 10.0.1. Now the user is going to the browser and the user is typing system1.yahoo.com. So once you press enter, my question is what? The first request will go to web server or the request will go to DNS server first? The request will go to DNS server. So what the DNS server will do? It will take the name. It will resolve to what here? IP address. It will say the IP of the web server, that is 61.0.0.5. By taking this IP, can we reach to the web server? Can we access the site or not here? Yes, we can reach to the web server. We can access the site on next day. So it means resolving the name to IP address. So next day, open the browser. Don't type the host name. Type the IP address 61.0.5. Once you press enter, can you find the same website or not here? So when the user is typing IP, the request is going to DNS server. DNS server resolving the IP address to name you can access, right? So it means we are searching something. We are searching from DNS server. We are sending the name. The DNS server is giving IP address. When you're sending the IP, DNS server is giving the name. So this searching technically is called lookup here. It's called what here? Lookup. And in DNS server, the microservice thing here, this searching, when you're searching something in the domain, so this is called lookup here. And the microservice saying here, we have two types of lookups here. One is called forward lookup and one is called reverse lookup here. Now try to understand what is the job of forward lookup here. when you're typing the name and your DNS server is replying with IP. So when you're typing the name, if the DNS server is giving what here? IP address. Is taking the name, is giving the IP address. So it's possible by the help of forward lookup here, right? And when you're typing the IP address and you're getting the name from DNS server, that is possible by the help of reverse lookup. So reverse lookup resolving the IP address to name, and forward lookup is resolving the name to IP address, right? So that's why the microservice is saying here, forward lookup requesting for name to IP address resolutions. Now try to understand here. So this is my client, this is my DNS server, and the DNS server is having web server information, website information, right? The client is requesting to DNS server, say, please tell me where is system1.ms.com. So DNS server will take the host name, it will resolve to what? IP address. DNS server is saying, so okay, your system1.yahoo.com website is hosted on this IP 192.168.1.50. By taking this IP, can we reach to web server? Can we access the site or not yet? Yes. So this is what forward lookup. Now what is reverse lookup? Reverse lookup is resolving the IP address to host name here, right? So now the client is requesting to DNS server, sir, please take this IP 192.168.1.50 and tell me on this IP how many websites are registered and what are the names of that website. So DNS is saying, sir, on this IP only one website is registered, sir. That is system1.ms.com. So this is called what here? Reverse lookup. So forward lookup is resolving the name to IP and reverse lookup is resolving IP address to name here. But the first request is going to web server or DNS server here? DNS server. But try to understand here, the request is going to DNS server when you're sending the name or when you're sending the IP. So when DNS server will give the answer to client, when DNS server is having database, when DNS server is having database. In case website is hosted, web server is created, but this web server information is not available in DNS server. It is not registered to DNS server. So this DNS server will give the answer to client? No. So first we have to feed the web server information in DNS server or not here. So we are the administrator of our organization, web server, but we have to call to the ISP administrator. Tell to the ISP administrator, sir, my website name is yahoo.com, web server name is system3, IP is 61.5, and feed this information in ISP DNS server. Then only the ISP DNS server resolve the name to IP address. So now tell me, this information, this web server information, automatically will feed in DNS server or we have to feed manually? What? Automatically it will, when you create the web server in your organization, automatically this web server information will store in the DNS server of ISP, or we have to feed? We have to feed. Automatically is not going to happen in the, okay? So we have to feed. So we are the administrator of our organization. We have to call to the ISP admin and tell to the ISP admin, sir, my website name is yahoo.com. It will store it. And web server is hosted on which machine? System3. And the IP of the web server is what here? 61.0.0.5. This information is feeded. Okay. So now, next day, when my user is typing system3.yahoo.com, the request will go to DNS server. And DNS server will say, okay, this database is there. DNS server will take the system name. It will resolve to what here? IP address. It will resolve to IP. And by taking this IP, will reach to web server to access. Okay. So whatever data we are storing in DNS server, right? This database is called zone here. It's called what here? Zone. So whenever you go to the interview exam, it will ask this question, sir, what is zones? So you have to say, sir, whatever data we are storing in DNS server, that database is called what here? Zone. So you can say DNS database is called zone here. But how the zones are working? The microservice saying zones are working by the help of records. By the help of records. What is records? Records are called files. Our files are called records. Like example, system3 is one file. IP address is one file. Right? So like this, we have so many files here. That is called what? Records. Right? So yahoo.com is called zone. In that we are creating system3 is one record. IP address is one record. Right? So DNS is running by the help of zone. DNS contains zones and zones are running by the help of records. Right? So DNS contains zones and zones contain what here? Records here. But how many types of zones we have? Here we have two types of zones. One is forward lookup zone, and forward lookup zone contain information how to map or how to resolve name to IP address. And reverse lookup zone contain information how to resolve IP address to name. It's containing mapping information of how to map IP address to name. Right? So whatever data we are storing DNS server, that is called what here? Zone. Last class we discussed Active Directory database. If anyone is asking, sir, what is Active Directory database? We have to say, sir, ntds.dit. But if anyone is asking, sir, whatever data we are storing DNS server, what is the database name? That is called what here? Zones. So DNS database is called zones, and zones are running by the help of records here. And we have two types of zone, forward and reverse here. So that's why you can see in the slide is written here, zone. Zone is a storage database which contain all the records information. And we have two types of zone. Forward lookup zone used for resolving the host name to IP address. It maintains host to IP address mapping information. And reverse lookup zone used for resolving the IP address to host name. It maintaining the IP address to host name mapping information. These two things are very important. So DNS contains zones and zones contain records. Two types of zones are there, forward and reverse here, right? So please copy this page. Is done, finish, all of you. So DNS contains zones and zones are working by the help of records here, right? So the microservicing, whatever data we are storing DNS server, that is called zones, and zones are working by the help of records. And how many zones we have? Forward lookup zone and reverse. And zones are working by the help of records. So we have to check what are the types of records we have in DNS server. That is important. Now try to understand each and every record is having their own name and each and every record is having their own function there. Now the first record name is SOA. That stands start of authority, right? And start of authority record contain information inside the zone. How many number of files we have? Files means records here. So example here, I created a zone by the name of yahoo.com. In that, the first record is what? System 3. In that, we have other records also, right? So we have total how many records here now? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 records we have, right? So SOA record contain inside the zone how many records we have? What is the first record and what are the other records? That information is contained by SOA record, start of authority. Next we have NS record, and NS stands name server, and this record contains, right, this record contains your domain name information, right? So here I created one zone by the name of yahoo.com. So this information, right, is contained by NS record. NS stands name server here. Now like this we have one more record, that is a host record. Now host record contains two things here, that is host name and IP address here, right? So in this picture you can see here, right now my yahoo.com website is hosted on system 3 and IP address is what here? 61.0.5. So this information is contained by my host record here. So here, so host record contain what information? Two things, host name plus IP address. So host name is what? System 3 and IP address is 61.0.0.5. And this record especially we are using in forward lookup zone, because the forward lookup zone resolving the name to IP address. Now we have one more record, that is called alias record. Now what is the meaning of alias? First tell me. Alias name. You can say subname or you can say pet name, that is called what? Alias name. Now here the expert are saying, and ICANN organization saying, sir, whenever you're accessing any website over the internet, you have to tell to the user, sir, to access the website, we have to use fully qualified domain name. So example, I want to allow my user to access yahoo.com website. I'm an administrator of Yahoo web server. So we have to tell to the world users, sir, if you want to access my company website, you have to type what? system3.yahoo.com, because my users, my world users don't know my web server system name, but you are the admin. You have to inform to all world users. So if you want to access my company website, you have to go to the browser, you have to type system3.yahoo.com to access. Now tell me, all the world user can access, but you are the administrator, you have to update to all world users. Now tell me, it's easy for you to update to all world users to access yahoo.com website by system 3. I have given the system name, system 3, but in the real time, the names are not short, it's very big names are there, okay? So it's easy for you to update to all users, or in future, assume your system name has changed. Again, we have to update to all users or not here? It's not possible. So then we are accessing all world website, not by host name. We are accessing all world website by this name, that is www, World Wide Web. So whenever we are accessing this website, we are allowing the user to access the website by www.yahoo.com, and it's possible by the help of alias record. So what we are doing by using alias record, we are giving the name to our host name, that is what? System 3, and what we are hiding the system name. We are hiding the system name. So now whenever the user is typing www.yahoo.com, so it means the request is going to system3.yahoo.com. So it means whenever we are typing www.yahoo.com, backgroundly we are typing system3.yahoo.com, and is this option, and this is possible by the help of your alias record here, okay? Now come to the next record, that is called pointer record. Now pointer record contain reverse information of host record. Pointer record contain what information? Reverse information of host record. Now tell me what? Sir, what? Sir, I'm not asking reverse lookup zone, I'm not asking forward lookup zone. I'm saying pointer record contain reverse information of host record. Now tell me what information? IP address to host name. So pointer record contain two information, IP plus host name. And this record, especially we are using in reverse lookup zone, because the reverse lookup zone job is what? Resolving the IP address to name. Now come to next record, that is called MX record. Now first try to understand, MX record we not require in our subject, in our MCSC, but MX record we require in DNS server. But when we require MX record, what is MX stands? Here MX stands mail exchange record, mail exchange, and this record is using in mail server, is using in mail. In mail server, we are creating the email IDs. We are creating the email IDs. When you're creating the email IDs in the mail server, that time we require here MX record. So MX record is used for what purpose? To create the email IDs in mail server. So if you're creating the email IDs in mail server, that time we require what here? MX record, mail exchange record. Now come to the next one, that is called SRV. And sorry, you can say SRV also, or you can say that is a short SRV, but we have to say service record. We have to say what here? Service. In short, you can say SRV record also. Okay. Now what this SRV record contain? This service record contained your DC information. Which information? DC. DC means what? Active Directory Domain Service. Tomorrow we'll discuss about this record, right? What is the use when we require. Okay. So how many records we have total? SO record contain number of files information. NS record contain domain name information. Host record contain name and IP information. Alias record contain alias name www. Instead of system name, we are allowing the user to access the website by www. Then pointer record contain IP to host name information. MX record used for creating the email IDs in mail server, and service record is used for DC. Is contain DC Active Directory information, right? Now try to understand these two records. Which two records? First two records, SO record and NS record. We no need to create. Whenever you create any zone, maybe forward or reverse, so after the zone is created, automatically these two records will create, SO record and NS record. So remember here, these two records, right? SO record, NS record automatically is going to create in forward lookup zone and in reverse lookup zone. We no need to create these two records, start of authority record and NS record. But other records, host, alias, pointer, MX, this record we have to create manually when we require. Okay. So please copy this page. SOA stands start of authority. Start of authority. Start of authority, SOA, start of authority. And please copy fast, please. NS stands name server. NS stands name server. MX stands mail exchange record. Your service record also is called SRV in short. It's done, finished. Okay. Now tell me in DNS server how many zones we have. So please write down in DNS server. In DNS server we can create. In DNS server we can create 4 types of zones. In DNS server we can create 4 types of zones. In DNS server we can create 4 types of zones, but actually you can see here in DNS server we have only 2 types of zones. One is forward lookup zone and one is a reverse lookup zone. But in forward we can create 4 types of zones. In reverse also we can create 4 types of zones. The names are same, but forward lookup zones resolving name to IP address and reverse lookup zones are resolving IP to name here, right? Now what are the names here? The names are standard primary, second one is called standard secondary, next one is called stub zone, and the last one is called active directory integrated primary, right? So try to understand. Standard primary, standard secondary, stub zone, and the last one is what? Active directory integrated primary. So now tell me, in this page, out of these 4 zones, how many zones are primary zones here? 2. One is standard primary, and the second one is active directory integrated primary. Now try to understand. The Microsoft is saying this active directory into primary zone especially is designed for domain purpose, and this active directory in primary zone is used for DC domain purpose, and this zone information is going to store in active directory. So it means this zone is not designed for website purpose, right? But standard primary zone especially is designed for your website purpose. If you want to register the website information in your DNS server or in your ISP DNS server, so we have to create a standard primary zone. So standard primary zone is designed for website purpose to resolve the name to IP, and standard primary zone is a master zone. Wherever you create the zone, the DNS server is called primary DNS server, right? And this zone is containing read and write option, means we can create the records inside the zone and we can delete the records, we can modify the records, right? And today we are discussing only how to create the standard primary zone in our DNS server, in forward lookup zone and in reverse lookup zone. And tomorrow we'll see what is secondary zone, what is stub zone, and what is active directory integrated primary zone. So please write down this one. It's done. Please write down one point there. Please write down one point there. This zone is used for to resolve. This zone is used for to resolve the website names. This zone is used for to resolve the website name. This zone is used for to resolve the website name. This zone is used for to resolve the website name. So it means this zone is used for web server purpose to resolve the website. If anyone is saying, sir, register the website information ISP DNS server, we have to create the standard primary zone. So first we'll see now today our practical how to configure the DNS server, what are the requirements. Then we'll see in forward lookup zone how to create the standard primary zone, and how to create the standard primary zone in reverse lookup zone also, right? So please write down. Our first lab, installing DNS service. Our first lab today, installing DNS service. Our first lab today is installing DNS service. So for today practical, we require only one machine, right? So first, we require one computer. If this machine is work group, no problem here. If this machine is member server, no problem. But we require what here? DNS. And make sure which machine you're making DNS server, that machine IP address and preference address should be same there. So please write down in system1 server. In system1 server, login as an administrator. In system1 server, login as a administrator. In system1 server, login as a administrator. Okay. The write down, assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Assign the IP address and preference address should be same. Assign the IP address and preference address should be same. Okay. So you can see here, this machine is my system1, but actually this machine is not work group. This machine is my part of my domain zoom.com, and this machine we have a server OS. If this machine is work group also, no problem, we can install DNS service, right? Next is what? In this machine, you require IP address and preference address should be same. So please, in the lab, if you're sitting on client machine, so you are making server today, DNS server. So that machine IP address and preference address should be same. So here the IP is 10.0.1 and the preference address should be same, 10.1 here. Okay. So click OK. Okay, close this one. Then we require DNS service. We have to install DNS service manually. So please write down. Open the server manager console. Click on add roles and features. Open server manager console. Click on add roles and features. Open server manager console and click on add roles and features, and click 3 times. Next, next, next. Open server manager console, click on add roles and features and click 3 times. Next, next, next. So click on next one more time. Next. And we are sitting on system1 IP is 10.1. Click on next. Then write down check the box DNS server and click on add features. Check the box DNS server and click on add features. Check the box DNS server and click on add features. And after that, write down 3 times. Next, next, install and close. Check the box DNS server. Click on add features and click 3 times. Next, 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 install and close. After installation is done, close. But you can see here, actually this machine is having Active Directory service. So with Active Directory service, DNS service already installed here. But I will show you on other machine how to install the DNS service here. So please, in the lab, your system1 is your DC. Already DNS is there, no need to install. But if you want to know how to install, how to remove, go to the second machine and check it out. So see here, if you want to add the DNS service, right now there is no DNS service here. Okay. So click on add roles and features and click on next, 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 and check the box DNS server and click on add features. Right. Continue. This is added, then click next, then next, next, and click on install. So once you click install, your installation is started here. Okay. After that, we have to close. Now, after DNS service install here, you can see in the list is there, or you can go to the tools also. You can see we have a DNS service here. But once you open the DNS service, this DNS service is running in system1. Is running in system1. But if you expand the system name, you have 2 options here. One is forward lookup zone, one is a reverse. So first we'll see in forward lookup zone how to create the standard primary zone. Then we'll see how to create the standard primary zone in reverse lookup zone. So please write down our next lab, creating a standard primary zone in forward lookup zone. Creating a standard primary zone in forward lookup zone. Creating a standard primary zone in forward lookup zone. Okay. So please write down in system1. In system1 DNS server, open the DNS service. In system 1 DNS server, open the DNS service. Then write down expand the system name SYS1. Expand the system name SYS1. Then write down, right click on forward lookup zone and click on new zone. Right click on forward lookup zone and click on new zone. Right click on forward lookup zone and click on new zone. Now once you click new zone, once you click this new zone, one new page will open, right? And this is what your welcome page here. Okay, so write down click next. Now once you click next here, in next page is asking, sir, what type of zone you require. You want primary zone, or you want secondary zone, or you want stub zone? Which one? Primary zone. So write down select primary zone. Select primary zone. But in primary zone, which type of zone you require? You want a standard primary zone or active directory inter primary zone? You want a standard primary zone. But you can see the last one. Are you finding one box is checked here? Store the zone in active directory. If this box is checked, so this zone information will store in active directory database, and this zone is called active directory integrated primary zone. But we want a standard primary zone, so we have to uncheck. But remember here, this option is not available in member servers. This option is not available in workgroup machine, because in workgroup machine member server active directory is not there. Here in this machine active directory is there, so that's why we can create two primary zones, standard primary zone and active directory primary zone also there. So write down uncheck the box, store the zone in active directory and click on next. Uncheck the box, store the zone in active directory and click on next. Uncheck the box, store the zone in active directory and click on next. So once you click next here, in next page is asking what here? Zone name. So please write down zone name dash yahoo.com. And please, whatever the name you are giving, you have to give with extension .com, .org or .gov. And you can see the example also is given, Microsoft.com here. Okay. Then write down click next 2 times. Next, next. After zone name yahoo.com 2 times. Next, next. So click on next. And this is a file. What is a file name? yahoo.com.dns. So this file is going to store in DNS database. Okay. So click next. And here is asking 2 things here. Actually, this is what dynamic update. And we have 2 options. Allow both non-secure and secure dynamic update, and do not allow dynamic update. Right. We have 2 options. Allow both non-secure and secure dynamic update, do not allow dynamic update. So what is the use of this one? If I select do not allow dynamic update, now try to understand. In future, if my web server system name is changed, my web server system name is changed to system 30 and web server IP is changed to 61.5 to 16.50. So this information automatically will not update to my DNS server. We have to update manually. We have to tell to the ISP admin, sir, my system name has changed to system 30 and system web server IP is changed to 61.5 to 61.50. Then manually we have to update, then user can access. Right? This is called manual process. If I select do not update. But if I select this option, which option? Allow both. If I select allow both option, non-secure and secure update. So in future, if I change the web server system name, if I change the web server IP address, so this information automatically will update to my DNS server. This information automatically will update to my DNS server. If I select allow both, so which option is best here now? Allow both is best. So write down select allow both, click next and finish. Select allow both, click next and click on finish. Select allow both, click next and finish. So once you click next, once you click finish here, so you can say successfully yahoo.com zone is yahoo.com standard primary zone is created. But see here, zone is created but not completed. Because you can see here, if you expand the forward lookup zone, if you expand the yahoo.com zone, you can see only 2 records. One is SOA record, startup authority, and NS record. But remember here, by using these 2 records, we cannot allow the user to access this zone over the internet, right? But in this zone, we require 2 more records to allow the user to access this zone, this website. First one is host record, and next one is alias record. How many records we require? 2 more records, host and alias record. So please write down side heading, lab is continue, creating host record. Creating host record. But remember here, host record contain what? Host name and IP address. we have to give web server host name, and alias record contain what? Alias name. We have to give www there. Okay. So first, what you have to do, collect the web server system name. What is the web server system name here? System 3, and IP address is what? 61.0.5. We have to collect. Okay. So please write down. What is the heading? Creating host record. So write down. Right click on yahoo.com zone. Right click on yahoo.com zone and click on new host. Right click on yahoo.com zone and click on new host. Now once you click new host here, now this host record also is called a record and is also called 4a record also. Okay. Now once you click new host, one new page will open and is asking two things: host name, and that name will continue here, and that is host IP address. Right. So write down host name dash. Now tell me what we have to type actually here. According to my diagram, first tell me, according to my diagram, what we have typed? Web server system name, web server IP. So what is the web server system name? SYS3. And what is the web server IP address? 61.0.5. Like this we have to type. But right now, today, I am not having web server today. In my diagram I have, but practically we have any web server now? No. So today we are not having web server. So assume it this machine. Which machine? Same machine. My system 1 is web server also. System 1 is what here? Web server. But we have a session. On the day I will show you how to configure web server, how to create the website. Once again, we'll go this one. But here, to complete the practical, we have to type the same system name and same machine IP address. Assume it this machine is my web server here. Okay, and same time this machine is DNS server also. So write down host name dash SYS1 and IP address dash 10.0.0.1. So in the lab, whatever your machine name is there and what is the IP is there, you have to type that one. Okay. So host name dash SYS1 and IP address is dash 10.0.1. But in interview, if anyone is asking, sir, in host name, we are typing system name, we are typing IP, but which machine IP, which machine system name we are typing? So we have to say web server here. Okay. And this is called your fully qualified domain name, system1.yahoo.com. So then write down, click on add host, click on add host, and is giving the confirmation. The host record system1.yahoo.com was successfully created. Then write down, click on OK. Click on OK and click on close. Click OK and click on done. Now once you click OK, once you click done, your host record is successfully created. But tell me, in the real time, we are allowing the user to access the site by host name or by alias name? Alias. So we have to create the alias record. So please write down next line, side heading, creating alias record. Underline this one. Creating alias record